At this time, we would like to introduce you to our keynote speaker this afternoon, Shelby Taylor, founder and CEO of Chickapea.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here to be your keynote today. It feels a little unreal, to be honest. I thought I would start by sharing just a little bit about my journey as an entrepreneur. So before I started Chickapea, back in 2015, I owned a small little health food store in Stayner, so not far from here. I bought that store the year before when I was 6 months pregnant with my first child, and I knew I wanted to start a product line, but I wasn't really sure what that looked like, so I thought, why not buy an existing business? It felt a little bit safer than starting one from scratch at that time, and I figured, what a great opportunity to do some market research. So I used the store to talk to customers, really understand what they were struggling with in terms of their health. I asked them a lot of questions, and one of the questions I always asked them was, what is one food that everybody eats or that you enjoy, whether it's healthy or not? Because what I learned from my customers was the big struggle was just putting a meal on the table that was healthy, that everyone would actually eat and enjoy. I'm sure those of you with children know that just getting them to eat a healthy meal is a struggle in itself. So what was that one food? What I learned was that, pasta was the one food that came up over and over again that most people and families would eat multiple times per week, but it wasn't something that they felt really great about. It was always like, yeah, but my kids don't eat it with sauce. Or, my husband has health issues, it's empty calories, it contributes to weight gain. There was a lot of reasons why people didn't feel great about this choice. So we made pasta super healthy. Chickapea is 100% organic, it's made with only chickpeas and lentils, it's super high in protein, fiber, all kinds of nutrients. Growing a business in a family is hard, as many of you know. I launched Chickapea into the Canadian market in 2016 after about a year and a half of product development. And we had found a manufacturer in the US, so we thought, what the hell? We're already manufacturing in the US, why not launch across the US as well? Not something I would really recommend. And then, so we launched in the US in early 2017, and I had my second son in June of 2017. Probably also not something I would recommend, but obviously something that I don't regret. Now my boys are 5 and 8 years old. They love Chickapea, and they have watched me work my butt off, and they love to talk about their mom as a boss. Thank you. So, as you might imagine, growing or scaling a food business across 2 countries, it takes a lot of money, way more money than I ever expected it to. And I had to raise capital from day one just to get a first manufacturing run produced. So I raised capital with angel investors before I even had a product to show them, when it was just an idea. And then in 2017, I took on my first venture capital partner, which is Arlene Dickinson in her new fund at the time. And since then, actually, that's me signing my first venture capital deal 2 days after that second child was born. And it was more of a, thank goodness, there's money in the bank so I can take a month to look after this child. And since then, I have brought on several other investment partners and continue to raise capital. So I know for a lot of women, because I felt like this for myself, that raising capital feels a bit terrifying. And for a lot of women, I think that's where business doesn't continue to scale because it seems so scary. And I will tell you that I knew nothing. I didn't know what shares were, how equity worked. I mean, I Googled, as my lawyer talked to me on the phone, I Googled every word that he said. He said, how many shares do you want in your company? And I was like, I don't know, 5? And he was like, well, 2 million is where you normally start. Oh, okay. So, so just to say, like I went to school for journalism. I have no business training. I had no manufacturing experience, no consumer packaged good experience. So I'm telling you, if I can figure it out, anyone can. So just to share a little bit about the business and what it looks like now. So this is a look at our core line of pasta that we offer. As I mentioned, it's organic. It's made with only chickpeas and lentils. We have 7 pasta items now, along with some additional lines. Elbows, lasagna, spirals, all the basics. And we're also a certified B Corporation, which I'm going to talk a little bit, and a certified women-owned company, which many of you, I'm sure, are, and know that becomes more and more challenging as you grow, especially when you're raising capital and so few venture capitalists are women. So it's something that we continue to hang on to. This is a map of our U.S., but just to say that Chickapea is now in 7,000 stores across North America from your... Thank you. Thank you. We're sold in most major supermarkets, Costco, your natural health food stores, and continue to grow. So talk a little bit about us as a B Corp. So for those of you that don't know, certified B Corporations meet the highest standards of environmental and social responsibility. I am very, this was something that mattered to me from the beginning. From when I had that health food store, my favorite stories to tell about the brands that I sold were the ones that had a real story, the ones that were doing real good. And I could sell those brands like that because I was so passionate about them. So that was one of my major goals from the beginning. We became certified in 2018 as soon as we could. And now a big part of that is the charity work that we do. So we donate a minimum of $150,000 each year. And I will say this, that we are not profitable yet. So we continue to invest in the business, but we continue to make this a real pillar of our business. So we donate that $150,000 to Community Food Centres Canada, and they use all of those funds to purchase regenerative, organically grown produce from the new farm in Creemore to feed the low-income communities that they serve, which is like a huge amount of lettuce and cucumbers, if you can imagine, going to the people who really do need it most. And that's something that I feel super proud of as a business, and also something that my team gets really jazzed about, and something that we report on and care about, and it really drives us. So I know I've talked a little bit about the bumps, but I feel like when I hear short presentations like this from other entrepreneurs, sometimes it makes it seem like you were some kind of overnight success and you didn't somehow hit all the challenges. So, I think that many of us, if not all of us, know that running a business, the bumps are not few and far between. It's more like, like the entire time. And in the beginning, those bumps feel like the end. I remember in the early days, like everything that went wrong, I was like, this is it. The business is done. Like, I'm gonna have to find something else to do. Like, who's gonna hire me? It was a meltdown every time. And now, it's like, you can usually see the bump coming as you're approaching it, and I almost look forward to the growth and the learning on the other side, because I know that it's there, and I know that, I'm going to learn from it and move on. So I think that's one of my biggest lessons is in your own capacity, learning, like what you're capable of overcoming, and also knowing that you will, and that those challenges, they don't go away, but your ability to deal with them is just that much higher. So, just to name a few, if you're interested, I mean, I have had, oh my gosh, 2 full production runs of packaging scrapped because of like the teeniest, tiniest mistake, like putting an organic logo on a colored background instead of a white background. Oh my gosh, I've moved manufacturers twice from the US to Italy and then within Italy again. I have had pest issues, legal issues. I have hired the wrong people. I mean, I could stand up here all day and just tell you about all the mistakes that I have made. But I'd rather talk about, what I have learned from those mistakes. This slide was so hard to put together because it could have been like 12 slides. But I wanted to focus on the things that have helped me the most in that, and obviously hoping that there's something to be gained here. My biggest one is that team is everything. The greatest peace of mind that I have had in the entire time of running this business is running it with people who are smarter than me, who I learn from, who motivate me to be better, and quite frankly, just know how to do their jobs better than I do. Mistakes that I made early on were sort of hiring people with this idea that I could teach them, but the reality was I didn't know how to do those jobs. I needed people to come in who knew how to do those jobs. So now I really hire people who are smarter than me, know what they're doing, and who I'm going to learn from and take the business to the next level. I've also learned to focus on my strengths rather than trying to fix my weaknesses. Not to say that we shouldn't try to improve on those weaknesses a little bit, but the business grows and becomes better the more I focus on the things that I am actually good at. And it is not cash flow and it is not shipping logistics. So I have people that can do those things real well. The one thing I always come back to, again, because of some mistakes that have been made, is to always look through that consumer lens. For many of you, that would be your client lens or whoever your customer is. But we have made some product decisions, from our own, like, what would be great? I'd like a mac and cheese with truffle in it, I would love that. So, the rest of the world would love that too. Now there's a process in place and making sure that we're always talking to our customers, always making decisions based on what matters to them. And what matters to them changes. It is not the same as when you started. And I think, my success, if you'll call it that, is that I've always been willing to pivot and change based on that information. I am not... how Chickapea was created is not necessarily how it will continue to grow because it is going to adapt to the market and to customer needs. I already talked about every failure and obstacle is an opportunity to learn, grow, and do better, and I cannot stress this enough. When you are in the midst of the hard, which is so often, if you can, look forward and say, something good is, I'm going to learn something big from this, it makes it so much easier to get through. And then you cannot be everything to everyone. I think that is really hard for women, for a lot of women. People pleasing, customer pleasing. When people don't like our ideas, when people don't like my ideas, quite frankly, I'm like, what? I want everyone to like my ideas. Getting really focused on a target customer and what their needs are and really serving them well and not trying to serve others has served our business very well. And then finally, because as I mentioned, my biggest challenge through this whole business has always been trying to balance that mom life with the business life. And it will continue to be my biggest challenge. I've just kind of come to accept this, that there is no balance. And excuse my French, but balance is bullshit. It is bullshit. Every one of us has our own idea of balance. It might be different in one season of your life from the next, but trying to be that perfect mom, perfect wife, perfect partner, and perfect business owner, in my experience, is just not possible. Some things have to slide, and then some things have to slide other times. So it's defining balance for yourself. What is balance to you? What does that look like? If you can't get your laundry done, then hire someone to do it and don't feel bad about it. You know, we take on so much guilt, and so if I leave you with one thing, it's that. It's define your own balance, and design your own life. So thank you. I almost forgot. I had this what's next slide. For those of you that are interested, I thought I would share a little bit of what's next for Chickapea, as I know some of you are familiar with our pasta. And I talked a little bit about, the customer, looking through that customer lens. So in our space, customers are really looking now for complete meal solutions, really easy, on-the-go, but healthy, familiar options. So in June, you'll see our new line of one-pot meals hit the shelves with some absolutely delicious flavors. And this takes our pasta and pairs it with a delicious seasoning for a complete high-protein, high-fiber meal, all in one. It's our next step and something we're really excited about. So thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate this opportunity.